Welcome to the Humankindness at Work podcast, where you'll hear inspiring stories of people just like you making a difference in their corner of the world. You'll hear how human kindness is at work and how you can be a part of it. I'm Jennifer Clark. Ready to be inspired? Here we go. We are halfway through season 2 of the Humankindness at Work podcast, and I thought it'd be a good time to do a solo episode. In the United States, we just celebrated Independence Day, our nation's 250th birthday. This is one of my favorite holidays. Not because I'm super patriotic, although I do love my country. Not because I love fireworks. They actually make me really anxious every year here in Missouri where they're legal. But as the sky over our neighborhood lights up with fireworks, it's the sense of community that makes me love this holiday. We get together all over the country, family, friends, and neighbors, to celebrate this home that we and generations before us have created. In my neighborhood, driveways are full of kids playing with sparklers, tables are always full of potluck-style meals, music is playing from inside garages, families are coming home from the pool, and the entire neighborhood smells of fireworks. There's laughter, applause for the fireworks displays, and somewhere, a teen is learning how to shoot off a rocket without getting hurt. And while I usually prefer being home, celebrating with my friends and family in our neighborhood, there was one year that I was very far from home on the 4th of July. It was the summer of 2003, the summer that in every way changed my life. But that's a story I only share face to face because some moments are too sacred to just hand over to the internet. But what I will tell you is that I spent an entire summer before my senior year of college doing an internship in the countries of France and Mali. And on the 4th of July, I was in Bamako, Mali. Bamako is the capital city of Mali, which is in West Africa. It was, and still is, one of the poorest countries in the world. It's home to the Sahara Desert, Timbuktu, yes, that's a real place, incredible architecture, vibrant music, and some of the most resilient people I've ever met. The world I lived in while I was in Mali was vastly different from my life in the United States. I had just recovered from a serious illness. I was weak, really homesick, and struggling to see the good in my situation. But that day, human kindness was at work in ways I didn't expect. I lived with 3 lovely Malian families in a communal compound. And that morning I told them it was my country's birthday and there would be grand celebrations all over the United States. I was really struggling with homesickness, but rather than sulk, I decided, since I couldn't celebrate with my family and friends, I would introduce them to the United States Independence Day. It wasn't safe for me to leave the compound alone, so I invited one of the fathers to go on a secret mission with me. We left for the market after the heat of the day had lifted. I bought the closest things I could find to our American celebration traditions and returned with cake, pastries, and bottled Coca-Cola. These kinds of delicacies were rare. In fact, I don't think I ate a single sweet treat the whole summer I was there. We had 5 meals on rotation that whole summer, so I knew that this surprise would be really delightful to them. What I didn't know is that while I was at the market, the Malian families I lived with were preparing my favorite meal in their rotation, noodles and sardines. They also had maneuvered the antennas just right on the small TV in order to get the BBC News broadcast. When I returned from the market and President George W. Bush came on the TV screen, everyone cheered for my country. They asked me to sing our national anthem, which I did with tears streaming down my face. They knew I was struggling. They had just walked me through a terrifying sickness, and they knew I needed a little kindness. They spoke Bambara. I spoke English, but our common language was French. And this was back when I was proficient in French. They asked me about our traditions. They were so shocked to hear that Americans spend money on things that simply blow up in the air. They wanted to know about our food, our music, and what this celebration looked like for me with my family at home. They asked what I missed the most, what I loved the most about my culture, and if I'd ever met Jennifer Lopez. Then I brought out a bag of American candy that I had purposefully brought with me for a special occasion. The surprise on their faces was an instant reward for me, and their joy was palpable. Everyone filled their pockets and danced around, and the adults were acting like children when a piñata breaks open. It was really beautiful, and it made me really happy to share part of my world with them. Over the past few days, I've been rereading my daily journal entries from that summer abroad. And when I look back on July 4th, 2003, two things stand out to me. One is that even in the midst of feeling desperately homesick, I chose to extend kindness to my host families. I got outside of myself and my own problems and put my focus on others. And it changed my entire perspective. Now, full transparency, my journal entries are full of days that I wallowed in self-pity, so I'm not a perfect example of this. But in this moment, I made a choice I'm proud of. The second is that my host families went out of their way to show me kindness by expressing interest in me, my family, my traditions, my way of life. They had their own problems to deal with. They had their work and family responsibilities, and honestly, in comparison to mine, their lives were really hard in ways that shocked me. And yet, they made an effort to make me feel at home during a time I was really struggling. I've been thinking about those two things lately and asking myself, where are my eyes focused right now? On myself and my problems, or on others and how I can help? Who in my life needs to feel at home? What can I do to make others feel seen and celebrated? Making a difference doesn't have to be complicated. Most of us aren't going to start nonprofits or find a solution to a global problem, but we can all do something. Maybe human kindness at work through you looks like checking on an elderly person in your life, taking a meal to a friend who's grieving, showing interest in your immigrant neighbor's culture, giving a ride to a family member. It can look like a million different things, but there's one thing that all of those have in common. Kindness starts with being aware of the needs around us. We have to lift our heads up out of our own problems. We have to look around. We have to see other people. And this doesn't diminish our own needs and struggles, but it awakens us to the fact that there's so much more to life than our small world revolving solely around us. And if we want to receive kindness, we need to give it too. And just like my 4th of July in Mali, it will change our perspectives. We'll find that as we put human kindness to work, our lives get a little brighter and lighter too. We'll find that this whole human kindness thing, it was meant to benefit everyone, the giver and the receiver. So my challenge for you today, and I'm taking this on as well, is to find one person this week and take a genuine interest in them. Bonus points if they're really different from you. Ask about their upbringing, their family, their favorite childhood memory. Ask what their biggest need is right now, what their deepest hope is for the future. And if that kind of intentionality intimidates you, it's okay. You could write a note and let them know you're thinking about them. Drop cookies off on their doorstep. You could send a voice memo. Anything. Really, anything. The truth is, you don't have to cross an ocean to find people in need of your kindness. Let's see the people in our world. Let's grow in our creativity and our courage to make a difference right where we are. Thanks for listening to Human Kindness at Work. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. It's a great way to help others discover the podcast and be inspired to make a difference right where they are. Until next time, keep an eye out for human kindness at work in your world. Whether it's big or small, it all matters. See you next time.